Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Well, today I want to start a new series called Ask Joni. And in the questions that you begin to ask me during the series or any of the YouTubes that I put out, because I do read the comments, I will form the question and the answer. And with that, I just want to open up the world where I can communicate better with you. And I thought about doing this in a live video, but to be honest with you, I can't see the screen very well where I can read the questions. So here I'm going to set up a series where you guys ask the questions. I'll pick and choose the ones that I think everyone can learn the most from. And I think you'll get a lot out of it. So with that, I picked and chose a few of the questions that I saw in some of my previous videos that I thought were really good questions that I could help everybody understand more things about Vedic astrology. So let's go for it. Remember, ask your questions here in the comment section, and I'm going to take those questions and answer them. But for the most part, if they are too personal about you, where not everyone can learn from them, I'm not going to choose those type of questions. But the ones that have relevance for everyone, I want to answer. So here is one that I thought was really a good question, and I'm going to say who asked it. So the question was, does Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto have aspects? Because I'm well aware that traditional Vedic astrologers do not use the outer planets. So this was a great question. And Saptarishi Paul asked this question. And traditionally, when I did Western astrology for many years, I used all the aspects to the outer planets, which was the square, the quintile, the conjunction, everything. But I feel like the hard aspects are the most potent for the outer planets. What are the hard aspects? In my opinion, of course, the conjunction and the opposition. And somebody did answer you, I noticed, and said the opposition. Very good, because I use a conjunction and opposition. But you know what? Those squares will work too, not as powerfully as a conjunction and the opposition, but absolutely the squares, which I call the conjunction and the opposition, are the strongest. But the waxing square, which is 90 degrees, and see, here's what you're doing. You're looking at a planet and the transit, let's say the outer planet. So look at the outer planet as the conjunction, the waxing square, the opposition, the waning square, and then again, of course, the conjunction. So the square, opposition, and conjunction are the most powerful. But there is something else that I use that I think is very important. And it goes across the board with all astrology. I call this spatial relationships. And the spatial relationship means if you have a planet, let's say the outer planet is exactly the same degree as a natal planet, and this can be the conjunction, this can be your natal chart or transits to your natal chart. But if a transiting outer planet is exactly the degree of any of your natal planets, count how many houses or signs it is away. For example, if you have a planet, let's say at 3 degrees, and we have transiting Pluto at exactly 3 degrees, but it is 6 signs away. If you counting with the sign that that planet starts in, as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then you count back from that planet to the starting planet, that would be 8. I call that a 6-8 relationship. And really what it's about is about the 6th house and the 8th house. I never forget to look at those relationships, especially with the outer planets. But traditionally, I tell my students, always look for the conjunction, the opposition, and the square, but especially the conjunction opposition. But when you get into this, and in Western astrology, it's actually called a quincunx, when it's 6 or 8 placements away. If you count it and it's 8 placements away, and you count back being 6 placements, that's called an 8-6. It's the same relationship, either 6-8 or 8-6. In Western astrology, it's called a quincunx, which is actually about, I think it's 160 degrees. Yes. But it is a tough aspect and causes exactly what the 6th house and the 8th house is about. Can be death through accidents. So I hope that answered your question. But don't forget, yes, the outer planets do have aspects. Now, another question, which this is coming, is everyone's been asking, do an analysis with Joe Biden's chart. Already did it. Been filmed. I'll put it out pretty soon. Probably it'll come out before this video. I actually did, I looked briefly at the charts of Joe Biden and Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders and looked at it relatively for the next few months, because I don't think this election's going to go anyway like we think it is. A lot is going to transpire before November. So that's one of the reasons why you don't see me doing a lot on who's going to be president yet. But we'll wait till we see if Bernie is the one or if Biden is the one. But Biden's chart definitely looked better coming up here soon. But these transits are tough that are happening. So be aware of that. The other, I noticed that somebody asked something about, when would, I had a video on Saturn-Pluto conjunction, and someone asked, when did it happen? I think I gave that in the video, but for that person, if they're asking, it happened on January 12th that Saturn and Pluto conjoined. Remember Saturn and Pluto. Pluto is major transformation, and anytime Saturn aspects Pluto, it represents a breakdown of the old, because Saturn is the old and Pluto is transformative. So it happened January 12th, and it is relative to this entire year of 2020 and 2021, while Saturn and Pluto are in the same sign of Capricorn. And Capricorn is the sign of government. So that's what's about to break apart and break down. And that's probably another reason why I haven't done the political charts yet. Okay. So another question was about the aspect between Pluto and Venus. And, whenever I have seen Pluto, especially if it is in close proximity to a conjunction with Venus, I find people experience extreme betrayal in a relationship. You'll see that even when you get the opposition and the square. But I have to say this, the orb does count. So if it's 2 degrees opposed, if Pluto is 3 degrees, I want to see Venus within a 5-degree range of being close to that Pluto degree. If it's 5 degrees, let's not look, it'll be more intense if the orb is closer. In other words, if you have the planet 5 degrees, let's take the other planet as 5 degrees. Conjunction, opposition, betrayal is the root cause of what love is all about, or what problems that the love relationships have throughout life. So, but variance of about 5 degrees, it's really intense. It's not that strong, even though it's still an aspect by the sign, but by the orb, makes it more intense. Another question was about the stock market. And I must say, I think it's right now, I'm speaking for right now, I'm in the month of March. Everything's dropped. I think it's going to maybe drop a little bit more, but then it's going to come back. It is. It's going to drop again. It's going to be an extreme roller coaster. I don't believe it's going to stay down. So it's time to invest in the stock market if you're able to, because it will come back up. Remember what I always say, there are so many billionaires out there in the world. The minute it goes down, they're going to jump in and buy it up, which prompts it to go back up. The problem is there's so many businesses that are suffering, like the travel businesses that are weighing down on other sectors of the stock market, that it is going to have a domino effect where it's going to stay down for a while. But if you can get into the stock market and stay in for a while, a year or two, you'll be happy because it's going to come back up. Okay, so that's my, and of course I could be wrong. Nobody can get it right all the time with the stock market. The stock market, remember this, is dictated by emotions of feelings of people around the planet. And guess what? Everyone's consumed with fear, so the stock market plummet. And as people regain their trust and not have so much fear, so will the stock market rebound. But it's going to be up and down for a while. Another question a lot of people asked about tropical and sidereal astrology. I've done videos on that, but the facts of the matter are this. The sidereal placements are the true placements of where the planets are according to astronomers. It's the true placements. I believe they are more accurate and they give me better results. Let me explain something. You know, when, as an astrologer, now some of you will be able to follow this, some of you won't, but as an astrologer, you look at what planets rule certain houses, such as if Venus rules the seventh house. And let's say you have Taurus on the seventh house, but your Venus goes to your 12th house. So that means the ruler of the seventh goes to the 12th. Which would represent loss in love. Now, if you're using the sidereal system of astrology, then Venus rules the seventh. But if you were using the tropical system of astrology, you would probably have Gemini on the seventh house. Because remember, the Vedic system falls back almost a full sign. Actually, it's backward in the zodiac, 23, almost 24 degrees. So a sign being 30 degrees, it doesn't go back a complete full sign, but almost. So that's why your chart, if you look at your Western, it falls backwards a sign in the Vedic. But this is all because of precession of the equinoxes. This is where the stars are moving. The stars move backwards slowly, 1 degree every 72 years, going through all 12 signs in a period of 26,000 years. But back to the horoscope analysis. When I used to do Western tropical astrology and I took the ruler of a house, which it would be Mercury in this case, not Venus, and it would go to a completely different house, you'd get a completely different meaning. I never got the results doing Western astrology with that. Never. I actually quit using planets' rulerships of the houses and just looked at the transits through the houses and their aspects, because aspects are actually the same in both tropical and Western. But the house rulers, because the signs were incorrect and off, I never got the results. Now, I know many people are so attached to their tropical Western astrology, they won't see it, because let me tell you something else. People believe what they want to, and they will make things fit. But I was a Western astrologer for 20 years, and I couldn't get it to fit. And then I started with Vedic, and I have to say, I couldn't really wrap my head around the Vedic at first, the sidereal, because I was so attached to my sun sign, my moon sign. But once I truly got into, surrendered to all of my attachments to the personality sun sign stuff, which is ridiculous, really. I mean, it's not really working with a chart in astrology, the mathematics of what astrology is about, the true placements of the planets. When I surrendered and let go of all my Western, yeah, but in Western it's this, yeah, but in Western it's that. When I let go of that, I said, okay, this is it. Let me do this right. Let me just go with it. My readings and my analysis took off because I was doing what was astronomically correct, and the house rulers worked. You don't use the outer planets in terms of rulerships of houses. The Vedic system works perfectly. But yes, I do use the outer planets, but not in the system of house rulerships. I use them as the transpersonal aspects of our subconscious and our mind. You'll see how that works, how I incorporate them in a chart without ruining the structure of the Vedic chart. So this was all of the questions that I got. Now, what I want to do in the future is I want to have a lot of clear-cut questions that I'm going to get right to the answer and answer whatever you guys want to know, particularly if it pertains to everyone and everyone can get something out of it. But I'll pick and choose the questions that I think are the most pertinent and the most meaningful. And I know you guys are going to come up with some amazing questions that will probably even help me learn. Because when you teach, you learn. So with that, I'd like to close. Please give me your questions. I'm here to help everyone learn and to help everyone grow in awareness and consciousness, especially through astrology, Vedic sidereal astrology. So with that, I'd like to close. If you would like more information on me, you can always go to my website, which is galacticcenter.org. Don't forget to sign up for my free newsletter. And if you would like to learn Vedic astrology, I have an online self-paced course. It's amazing that you can become a professional with Vedic astrology. Check that out. My website for that is University of Vedic Astrology.com. Thank you.